viewers asking me why past presidents like Bill Clinton and George W. Bush and Barack Obama don't speak out about contemporary problems. And the reason is there is a tradition, and it started with George Washington, the first president, that once you leave office, you don't criticize your person that took over your job. Okay, that is a tradition. Now, it's been violated, but not often. So now, today, we don't have a lot of sniping. Even Donald Trump, Obama a little bit, but not a lot. Clinton, Bush, no. Currently, Joe Biden is immune to all past presidents criticizing him. I haven't seen it one time. But last week, Barack Obama went on the CBS Morning News under the radar, didn't get a lot of publicity, but I picked it up. And that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. So this was last Tuesday morning. Roll it.
Today, what I'm most concerned about is the fact that because of the splintering of the media, we almost occupy different realities. If something happens, in the past, everybody could say, all right, we may disagree on how to solve it, but at least we all agree that, yeah, that's an issue. Now, people will say, well, that didn't happen, or I don't believe that. And one of, I think, the goals of the Obama Foundation and one of the goals of my post-presidency is how do we return to that common conversation? How can we have a common set of facts? We may disagree on gun violence in terms of what the best prescriptions are. But we can't deny the data that says the United States has levels of gun violence that are 5, 10, 15 times more than other countries. So if we say that it's just a mental health problem, well, it's not like there aren't people with mental health problems in those other countries. What's the difference?
Here is the difference. Now, I'm going to go over this methodically. If you have a paper and pen, and I always recommend you watch and listen to the No Spin News with those items, you might jot down a few notes. The United States is a relatively new country. Even though we were founded in 1776, most other countries throughout the world are much older than we are. And even in places like Africa, where there was colonialism and the countries are newer, the basis of governance was there before the United States even appeared. All right? Europe, Russia, Japan, China, centuries before us. So, in order to become a country, America had to fight a war, the Revolutionary War, with guns. Okay? And in order to expand the country, Americans, after the Revolutionary War, had to go west with guns. Why? Because there were hostiles in the way. There were Europeans, the French, the Spanish, who wanted parts of North America, who would attack Americans. Native Americans, if you read Killing Crazy Horse, I mean, it was brutal for decades. And there was no law. And there were bears, big bears. So every American that forged west had to have a firearm. Back in Philadelphia, where they were forging the Constitution, the founding fathers feared a military takeover of the United States. So therefore, they put in the Second Amendment, giving the citizens the right to bear arms in case the democracy fell apart and some general came in and said, I'm running the country. And how often have we seen that throughout history? So every American that chose to could arm themselves. Now, that tradition never stopped. In fact, the British invaded us in 1812. And then we had the Mexican-American War, which I'm going to tell you about later because it's this day in history, and the Civil War. And then we had the Indian Wars, as I mentioned. Everybody had a gun. And there was no time in history, not 1 year, where there was a movement to ban guns or to disarm the civilian population. Now, I don't know whether Barack Obama understands that or not. But when you compare the United States to Australia or New Zealand or Sweden or wherever you go, it's a totally different situation. And we have a plurality here of amazing amounts, they call it diversity now, people. Okay, we're not homogenous like Scandinavia or even Australia. Okay? I mean, if you look at the Australian immigrant laws, you can't move to Australia, particularly if you're a minority. I mean, people down there, they want their 25 million and that's it. All right? So, we have a tradition here of firearms. And now the tradition is causing trouble because there are criminals and mentally ill people who are using those firearms to kill innocent people at a level that's unacceptable. It is unacceptable. But banning guns isn't going to stop that. And Barack Obama should know it. There are 300 million guns, more, in the marketplace right now. So even if you stopped every gun sale tomorrow, you got 300 million guns. And what do you think is going to happen? The black market is going to take over and sell the guns to the criminals who don't buy guns legally now. The mentally ill sometimes can because the laws in the individual states aren't tight enough. But banning guns, even ARs, and I do think there should be restrictions on the higher level firearms, training restrictions mostly in the states, not going to stop it. Barack Obama should know that. He should understand that. He's smart enough to know it. Okay? So he's either being disingenuous or he needs to watch this program every night. So once you have that situation where the population's divided among gun owners, conservatives, traditionalists who understand how we evolved, and then the left, which wants to ban all guns, okay, because that gives the government more control, and that's what the left wants. A strong central government telling everybody what to do, what to eat, how to live, what car to drive, everything. That is the goal of the far left. Okay. So the last point I want to make is that Obama is right when he says the media is the divider now. That these news operations no longer are in business to serve you, to bring you information, which is what the founding fathers wanted and gave the media special privileges. They're not in business. They couldn't care less about that. They are in business to make money by dividing the population. Okay? And so this team, you watch this channel or listen to that radio station. That team, you do the other. And they all do it. All of them. Now, the cleanest operation is this new News Nation thing, in my opinion. I'm on it, yes, and I have some self-serving reason to tell you that, but I've watched it. They try. Nobody else even trying. Finally, we live in a violent culture. But again, that falls under the First Amendment. Guns are the Second Amendment. And believe me, the Second Amendment is never going to be revoked. Ever. And the First Amendment isn't either. You'd have to have a coup d'etat to get them out of there, which means a military presence would have to take over, totalitarians. Okay. First Amendment allows this violent culture. And the media, Hollywood, the rap industry, all of these people celebrate that and sell that. So mentally ill people become desensitized, if they were ever sensitive to begin with, because they see all this horrible violence on the internet and the movies. They listen to this horrible, horrible so-called music. And, misguided people absorb that and go and act out and kill people. They don't believe in anything. They don't think they're going to hell. They want to die themselves. So I'll take some people with me. That we live in an extremely violent culture. Mexico's worse. Okay? Some other countries throughout the world are worse. But here, don't kid yourself. Our culture is violent. So that is my message to Barack Obama, and that is the memo. You want to comment? Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Name and town if you wish to opine. Bill O'Reilly here for Lone Star Transfer. If booking your timeshare has been difficult in the past, you know it's been almost impossible lately. Most clients are shocked to learn that their timeshare is now available to the public, severely limiting booking options. Many owners are upset their yearly dues have nearly doubled during this maintenance fee season. For well over a decade, this family-owned company has had the pleasure of helping more than 18,000 owners legally and permanently get out of their timeshare fees. With an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau and more than 900 five-star testimonials, Lone Star Transfer is a company you can trust. Lone Star Transfer guarantees the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. So please call my friends today for a free, no-obligation consultation at 855-551-7066, 855-551-7066, or online at lonestartransfer.com. Okay, let's go to Target, as we mentioned. So they have lost incredibly. Let me get the number here. It's just staggering. They have lost in their campaign to bring on the woke woman like $40 million in net worth or something. Anyway, it's an astronomical amount of money. And I kind of almost feel sorry for Target because it was a marketing mistake because of the kids and the Satan guy. See, this is for all retailers, all right? Macy's, Kohl's, Target, Bloomingdale's, everybody. Americans don't generally want to buy stuff that glorifies Satan. That's a niche audience. Maybe San Francisco boutique, but not mass market, okay? If you don't know this, like that. Now, there was a report from Fox News that said that Target was funding a group, NDN Collective, that believes Mount Rushmore should be obliterated because it celebrates white supremacy. Okay? So when I heard this report, I go, that doesn't sound right to me. And this is what we do now. So we investigated. Now, the Target Foundation does not directly support the NDN Collective. They are nuts, the NDN Collective. But they do give money to the Nexus Community Partners Group, or have given money, which is informally connected to NDN Collective. So what Fox News did was it kind of brought them together, and Target, I don't think, had any blanket idea that they were supporting some group that wanted to knock down Mount Rushmore. So you will get the truth here. All right, I don't care where it lies. And $13 billion is what Target's lost since this LGBT gear stuff. $13 billion. Well, you did the tough thing during COVID. You paid your people and pulled your business through the pandemic. And now you could qualify for up to $26,000 per employee at covidtaxrelief.org. Government funds are available to reward companies with 2 or more employees who stayed open during COVID. This is not a loan. You don't have to pay it back. Nobody knows about this more than the CPAs and tax experts at covidtaxrelief.org. You pay nothing up front. They do the work and share a percentage of the cash they get back for you. Even those businesses who took PPP loans can qualify. Nonprofits and churches as well. So let covidtaxrelief.org help you get up to $26,000 per employee. Visit covidtaxrelief.org. That's covidtaxrelief.org. Okay, so here is the final thought of the day. We have a lifeguard shortage all over the country. There are more than 300,000 public pools in the USA that don't have enough lifeguards, according to the American Lifeguard Association. And beaches are having problems too. So this is dangerous. As some of you know, I was a lifeguard, and I was rummaging through my old stuff, and I found this. Throw it on up. I'll tell you about it on the radio. This is my water safety instructor card, 1966. I was only 6 years old. I was the youngest lifeguard in human history. That's a jest. Okay, so I got my water safety instructor card to teach swimming because I wasn't making enough money being a lifeguard. That's why I got it. But now the lifeguards are unionized and they're making a lot of money. And come back to me, please. If we don't have them, people are going to die. Not only drown, but you got heart attacks, you got seizures on the beach. And the lifeguards, all the lifeguards I know, and I know a lot of them, are really good and competent. And we need them. You know, I live on the beach, literally. I handle myself in the water, but most people can't. I mean, that surf out on Eastern Long Island, that's serious surf out there. You gotta know what you're doing. So we need those lifeguards. And it's fun, it's a fun job. And the girls like you if you're a guy, if you care about that. They like you, still today. It's not like Baywatch, but it's a really, you learn so much about CPR, about handling emergencies, you're in shape. The only downside is the sun, because I got to go every 3 months now to get stuff taken off my pale body because there wasn't any sunblock when I was a lifeguard and a water safety instructor. We were out there like, oh, this is great, you know. No. So you got to block it and wear the hat and all that, or you're going to get in trouble, even if you're Italian or African American. I mean, his sun is intense. So anyway, we want people, if you're young people and you're watching or listening tonight, you know, get in shape, apply for the lifeguard job. You'll make some good money. You'll have a great summer, and it's a good legacy to have. I wouldn't have traded that experience. I only saved one life in my lifeguard experience, but that life, that kid that I saved, he was going. I got that on my sheet. Okay? I saved that kid. And as an adult, that kid tracked me down because his mom told him that I had saved him, and of course, she knew my name. And then when I became famous, he tracked me down. It's an unbelievable story. But I'm sorry that I don't know why there's a lifeguard shortage. It's hard. Maybe that's why. And you can't have the machine in the water. Maybe that's why. But anyway, that is the final thought of the day. Thank you very much for watching and listening on the radio, our 100 affiliates that carry the No Spin News. New column comes up Sunday noon. So we'll see you again tomorrow.